Time is intangible. Time is priceless. Time you can't get back. Time is one of the few variables in life that when you use it, that's it. It does not roll over to the next year like some people's vacation time. It does not. When it is gone, it is gone. And that brings me to the topic that I want to discuss today, which is time management, which has effectively and ineffectively kind of managed my life as it pertains to what it is now. And discussing strategies that need to be taken to kind of help with your time management skills, your time management acumen is key. Time management is a skill. It is a skill that can always be sharpened. It is a skill that can get better with use and with knowledge and with tunnel vision, meaning you have to want to be good at time management to be better at time management, especially in a life that's convoluted by everything pulling at you in different directions. Sometimes it's hard to see and hard to know where you need to go, right? What those priorities are and how to kind of better understand high priorities versus low priorities, things that can be held off until tomorrow and things that are important for you to be able to do today. And I think that is key. I think it's very important. And in the midst of kind of understanding time management and how it can better help me, I always like looking at podcasts on YouTube. It's something that you would think wouldn't be good because I could be using that time doing something else more valuable, right? Quote unquote, what would be for time management. But I feel that that knowledge is key to getting me to the place where I need to be. And for this particular discussion, I actually looked at a TED talk by Laura Vanderkam, and I'll kind of dive into that a little bit more. But she presented on TED Talk a great presentation called How to Gain Control of Your Free Time. And free time is key. Free time is invaluable in understanding how it plays a part in your life and understanding how it plays a part in your key priorities are one of the things that kind of helps me understand not just like I said before where I am now, but where I want to be in the future to see that scalability. And that's why I'm presenting time management strategies and kind of what I can do better, what I've learned from this class to help me be better in my time management skill and acumen. And one of the things that I understand is integration, right? From a professional standpoint, but understanding the strategy of how to integrate work, school, and your personal life. So I have a friend of mine that has a kind of a family calendar, an integrated calendar for the family, right? Based off the surname. So everybody has the same calendar and they can input different things on that particular calendar as far as what they're going to do that day, that week. So everybody can look and see and understand what needs to be done for that day and it's scalable weeks or months out as well. And I think that will be a good thing for me to implement using that type of calendar to implement maybe work schedules on, to implement meetings and lunches, maybe dinner with clients, schoolwork as well, not just utilizing having to go on Canvas and read the syllabus and look at when assignments are due, but in the beginning of the semester, getting a grasp of that and implementing that into the family calendar. So not only I being able to understand, but everybody understands and is able to actually see what is implemented, how it can affect the family, and how we can do better to make sure that everybody has time and priority. That's one strategy that I think works well, and I think will work well for me. I think it may be tough to get everybody on board to implement, but I think it's how you sell it, and if it's sold well, if it has if it makes sense for the family, I think it'll do very well. So that's one thing that actually caught my eye when my friend was doing that, and he said that it's worked well for him, keeping him at task, keeping his family on board, making sure there's free time, there's valuable time, that there's time for everyone, and that is one task or sorry strategy that I would like to implement. One of the other things is time management regarding work, which is big for me, and after work. So 5 p.m. is actually the when the business day historically ends in America, right? I guess if you wanna say that from a business to business perspective. So at 5:01 p.m., shutting off my cell phone and shutting down my computer, my work computer, not just putting it to sleep because I can just pop it back open and log back in. It's less work if I put it to sleep, but to make it more difficult for me to log on is to shut it all the way down. And I think really that is one thing that's big is myself doing work after work hours, right? Looking at emails, studying, not for work, but studying for different, maybe certifications, going above and beyond after work. It's good for the company. It can be good for the company, but it can be bad for your personal relationships with your family, your husband, your wife, your kids, just your personal life in general, and your mental health as well. And I think that has affected me prior as well. Is not understanding that dividing line before, like we spoke about in the previous presentation. So understanding that is key, and being able to divide those the work life and your professional life and in your family life, and being able to draw that line in the sand that at 5:01 p.m. when your workday is over, it needs to actually be over, right? Not up until 1 a.m. working on Salesforce like I've done in the past, like I've done this week. So it's one thing I'm cutting back on, but it does take work, and you have to be mindful of that. So that strategy to understand that, uh, answering work calls, text messages, emails, Salesforce notifications, anything like that after 5 p.m. needs to cease until that next morning at 8 a.m. when the work shift picks back up. And I think that's a key strategy for myself. Also, one of the other things is learning to delegate tasks. So at my work, at my job, what I do is they have a job called quotation specialist, and they quote jobs. So I can help integrate a job and send that integration list, send the parts and the pieces for integration to pricing so they can actually quote it and then it can get ordered. But what I do is I actually take that upon myself, and not only do I integrate, but I also quote as well, right? So I physically quote. I take that job away from that person and I put it upon myself. And the reason that I think I do that is because whether I quote it or not, if somebody else quotes a job and they quote it incorrectly, I get dinged for it, even if it wasn't me. So my philosophy has been, well, hey, if I'm going to get money taken away from me, if something's going to happen in the negative aspect, I need to do it myself. If that's the case, so if it messes up, I can mess it up, and not someone else. And that's really a bad way to look at it, right? So that's a bad way to look at things because it makes you work harder. And people have a job and a position for a reason so they can do the best at what they do. And if I'm taking that away from them, right, and doing that for them, number one is putting more work on myself, which is making me more stressed out, right? Because sometimes these quotes can be awful long. They can have a lot of parts and pieces and pricing, three, four, $500,000 and more. So, and their expertise is quotations. That's not my expertise per se, but I try and make it my expertise, and that's not good. That's not what you want to do. You don't want to overstep boundaries. You don't want to kind of muddy the waters in the job aspect as well. Um, and I need to learn how to delegate tasks, but also entrust people to do what they're valued to do. To entrust people to do the job that my job hired them to do because they trusted them. They entrust them with that value, and I need to do the same. And that's one thing that I haven't been good at or have not been good at, but that's one thing that I need to obviously be better at. And understanding that there are priorities, right? So different emails come in, different Salesforce tasks come in, and what do I try and do? I try and take care of all of them immediately, regardless of the priority sometimes. And that's not a good thing to do. You take care of you need to prioritize your task and see what's high priority and what is not high priority. And that is key. And I think in regards to saving time for yourself, Laura Vanderkam, who, like I said on the TED Talk, spoke about how to gain control of your free time. she said something that really stuck out to me, and it was, we don't build the lives we want by saving time. We build the lives we want, and then time saves itself. That is very important, very important. And when I heard that, it kind of blew me out of the water because uh, understanding that you build the life and then you save time. That the time will save itself when your priorities are intact, when your priorities are in value. And that's something that needs to be understood. Priorities can either help you save your time or create a disaster. And I've done both. But utilizing how to value and rank your priorities in a ranking system, which can also be a strategy as well, being able to rank your priorities into how you value them and how you think they're being valued, their perceived value is going to be key to what you do first, second, third, and so on and so on. And I think that's key in my professional life and my personal life as well. Because no matter kind of how you slice it, they will integrate somewhat in some way, shape, or form in this American society. They will, but you want to be able to have that dividing line as much as possible so they can integrate in a healthy way when they do integrate. And I think that is very important. And that kind of looking at that TED talk and listening to it, it wasn't long. It was only about 11 minutes and 7 seconds, but it was powerful. And understanding what Laura Vanderkam was saying and why she was saying that, and how people do not utilize their priorities the best way. So they actually have more time than what they think they do. They just don't know how to prioritize that free time. And once again, it integrates in a negative fashion. So understanding what she was saying on a higher level and understanding what this class has brought to me, what this class has presented to me, the skills and the acumen and the knowledge that I've gained thus far has been invaluable. So I greatly appreciate that, and I appreciate you giving me the time to share. Thank you.